Yes, hello, Wagwan. So, I want to talk about Ryan Garcia, Queen Rye. Because there's a lot of talk about him. Because his mental health has been poor, and he pulled out a fight because of mental health. He's always like, what's it called, commenting, just making weird remarks on social media. Slightly cryptic. Oh, I messed up. He didn't use that word. He goes, I effed up, whatever. But when some girl, I don't know, I think he cheated on his girl or something. I don't know, man. But the funniest thing was this here poster, yeah, for which all this image that DAZN produced. Yeah, so on their Instagram, DAZN, I just can't get it right, man. So they're bigging up the Ryan Garcia match, yeah, for the weekend before when they go, DAZN, and they hit it. The most anticipated returns in boxing. Check it out. So in the middle, in the prime position, right, is crying Ryan Garcia. Hashtag I soiled myself in training. Yeah. Which allegedly he did, apparently. That's one of the reasons Canelo and Reynoso rinsed him so much. They rinsed Garcia so much he started to cry, and his mental health went out the window because he'd shit himself in the gym. Come on, man. That's not great, but you just have to take it on the chin and go, you know what? I should have emptied my bowels, I shouldn't, before training, or, I should man up. Anyway, forget about that. So now he's been fated by DAZN as one of the most anticipated returns in boxing. Now, I don't know when he was last fighting. Was it 18 months ago or something? Luke Campbell, was it? I can't even think. You know what? I'm going to check it out because I don't want to know. So I checked it out. So Ryan Garcia, last fought 1 year and 3 months away against Luke Campbell. Okay, now 1 year in a bit of layoff is not great, especially for a young guy. But DAZN, I mean, they're taking the piss. These guys, bro. Right? They're comparing Ryan Garcia on their poster to the following: George Foreman, Mike Tyson, and Muhammad Ali, the most anticipated return in boxing. Oh, and Vinny Pazienza, right? Now, I'm going to have to look at these, separately. But, I mean, even just especially Ali, Tyson, and Foreman, to compare crying Ryan's comeback to those. I mean, let's have a look at this. Yeah, George Foreman, a heavyweight champ legend, 10-year layoff. Yeah. And by the way, the most anticipated returns, I mean, people weren't anticipating George Foreman's return. Most people were against it. They're like, oh, come on, man, he's too old. They used to ridicule him in the early days. They weren't laughing, though, when he ironed out Michael Moore. I remember, this is back in the day. Yeah, it wasn't on the TV in Britain. And me and my pal was sitting there. And the next day, just listening to the news on the radio. And we were like, what? No way, he did it, man. Yeah, Big George. I mean, how can you compare Big George Foreman, a heavyweight legend, coming back after 10 years, being ridiculed, and then later knocking out Michael Moore, to crying Ryan Garcia, he's like, whatever he is, early 20s, getting floored by Luke Campbell, taking a year and a bit off his mental health, and fighting some limited Ghanaian. What the heck is that? And then Mike Tyson, so Mike Tyson was out for 4 years and 2 months, right? Now, that was an anticipated comeback, because Mike Tyson, right? Now, firstly, a lot of people thought it was a rubbish, it was a setup. Who did he upset? Why did they stitch him up? Because I'm not going to get too much into detail here because it's controversial, but another time, maybe, the case was very shaky. I mean, listen, rape's a difficult thing to prove and so on. And it's usually he said, she said, or he, and she said, if it's a gang rape. But, she went to his room at 3 a.m. She'd been flirting with him. She'd previously made an untrue accusation. I mean, I don't know. Tyson's lawyers, and he should have the best with his cash money, was so incompetent. And a lot of people say something was up. Yeah, they want to teach Tyson a lesson, make an example of him. I mean, whatever happened, yeah. Oh, and she let him. I think she admitted as well. She let him munch her out as well. It doesn't sound a lot like a rape thing, but I don't know what happened to her. She kind of disappeared, man. She got her cash money, flew away. I don't know, probably new identity or something. No one knows nothing about her, but she got her cash money, of course. Now, I mean, no one was in that room except them two, but I would just say this. The onus is to prosecute someone, is to put it beyond reasonable doubt. And there's plenty of reasonable doubt here, And so, unfortunately, maybe Tyson's a bit crazy, Maybe she's like, oh no, Mike, I love it. Oh, I don't want to do. She let Mike Tyson munch her up, and then Mike wants to obviously give it to her proper style, and he's used to it as well because all them skets used to throw themselves at Tyson, and she's like, she wants to play the long game. Oh no, oh Mike, oh no, I don't want to make love. I think we want to stop. And by this time, he's pretty raging. Yeah, a young man with boner, and he's like, what the? He's used to girls like just letting him do whatever, and he'd probably just smash her anyway. So that's a possibility. Yeah, but even that, it's like, well. What's this girl doing? But basically, I would say from a neutral standpoint here, that was not a secure conviction. Whatever happened, there was just not enough evidence. Basically, just Tyson's a very bad man. Oh, this girl's nice young girl. But he didn't, talk about the fact she made false rep accusations. They didn't talk about the fact that. She flirted with him. The fact she wanted to get mad money out of him. So that was very insecure. But regardless, so his comeback, which was against Peter McNeely, who's pretty nuts guy as well. But he had a crack. I give him that. He had a crack. He had his little limelight. I'm gonna do a video on him probably because he's an interesting character, and he's another guy who was damaged by the yayo and the drink, So Tyson's comeback is definitely one of the most anticipated in history, And people wear T-shirts with his face on it, and Mike's back, and a picture of Mike Tyson back, and his thick neck, But no one's wearing no crying Ryan Garcia, he's back T-shirts, are they? This isn't on the front page of all the main newspapers like Tyson comeback. So it's just embarrassing. Who at DAZN thought this was worth bringing out? You just embarrass yourself, man. Yeah. Anyway, I just talked about Vinny Paz. So Vinny Paz, he legally changed his name to Vinny Paz, even though his real name is Pazienza, which is kind of odd, right? And he broke his neck, yeah? Yeah, he broke his neck and he got one of them halo things that kept it in. And he worked his butt off. And 13 months later, he was back boxing again. Now, that's incredible. That's amazing, right? But it's real. Unlike the miracle man, David Greenblatt Diamante, who claims that his arm fell off, and 2 days later he was commentating on a basketball game, and then the other crash when his spinal injury was so bad he didn't know if he was going to walk, and then the man's dancing 2 months later, no limp, no nothing. He's just a lying toe rag, but the Paz man is a genuine, amazing recovery, but he's determined. He was fit. He just, his comeback on a low level was, was clapped and people, but it wasn't exactly globally anticipated. No disrespect to Paz man, but he wasn't that massive a name in his local area. He was, but he never achieved what Foreman Tyson did really in terms of recognition, but I respect Vinny Paz a lot, a lot. And then obviously Muhammad Ali. I mean, come on, comparing Queen Rai, to the greatest of all times, like Muhammad Ali, because I punch rams, Ali was out for 3 years and 7 months, right, the prime of his life as heavyweight champion, and the most, doesn't matter. I don't worship him like some people do, but he'd never seen that charisma and you know, and also you mix it in with politics. People say, yeah, I mean, I say it's nonsense. He got, you know, what a coincidence, you know, he got drafted, you know, because he was shaking things up and he was looking at powers that be, making them look bad and calling out the banks, you know, he's calling out them big bankers, yeah. So he upset. So what they do? Oh look, you got to go draft or go to Vietnam. Go to Vietnam, man. I'm glad he didn't. You know, he refused to go. Good on him. But it took 3.5 years out of his life. And again, when it comes to anticipate comeback, this is the most anticipated I say ever. Maybe Tyson the next, or maybe they're close. Yeah? And according to Eddie Hearns at DAZN, yeah, Crying Ryan is up there with those guys. I mean, you know. I mean, you know, I know you look for PR in that, but you can't make yourself look stupid. You know, you become a mockery if you start to talk about crud like this, man. You know, and of course, you know, in the comments, everyone's like, "What? This is disrespectful to everyone on there. No way you posted this stuff." Yeah? It's DAZN Ryan Garcia fan page. DAZN must be trolling at this point. I mean, all the fans know, at least. I mean, they can't, you know, you can't fool anyone that nonsense, you know. I know it's not fucking Queen Riot's fault, but, you know, it's a joke, man. Yeah, so, Ryan Garcia, like, you know, he fights for Golden Shower Promotions, you know, by one of the worst nickname guys, Oscar the Golden Boy, the Golden Shower de la Hoya. He's probably off his nut watching this stuff. I didn't catch him. I didn't see him in the show, but you know, I didn't watch the whole thing. And Ryan's like in his whatever it is, his 15 months off for his mental health. Yeah, he come out with loads of whack tattoos. You know, tattoos are just a bit whack. I mean, people like Pam go, oh yeah, I'm such an individual. Oh, why did you get a picture of Bolt? Oh yeah, because I love traveling. Yeah, but so are you gonna forget that? People got them, you know, their kid's name on their arm, yeah, and the date of birth. I'm like, what? I'm like, why you got that? Oh, that's my daughter's Chardonnay, and the date is when she was born, innit? And I'm like, right. I said, what? You actually would forget that if you were to have it tattooed on your body? Come on, fool. Oh no, it's a tribute, fam. Yeah, I'm sure your daughter's really touched. Why don't you just make sure you're a good dad, you bellend? You know, having some whack tattoo anyway. Or like you get them young, you know, you get even these days, like even the posh girls have a little tattoo in that. You know, they go away to like you know, Sri Lanka, yeah. To you know, on their gap year, on a year off, and they're like, oh yeah, this is like so really found ourselves here. Yeah, oh, you know, as long as they don't go into Coogan's hotel and he's drilled a hole in the toilet wall to watch them shower and take a dump, and they'll be like, you know, oh yeah, you know, we've got to get something to remind ourselves of this trip, yeah. And then you know they'll have some tattoo on their arm of some local Sri Lankan word or some, you know, meaning of love or some nonsense like that. You know, it's just pathetic, man. It's pathetic, man. But yeah, Queen Riot. I mean, like, listen as well. I mean, you know, tattoos. Well, the thing is, right? Not a lot of people. I mean, he's a Christian. I respect it. Obviously, people say he was thrown off Twitter because he went on too much about Jesus, and Twitter just, as I said, it's not a business. It's just a censorship, a vehicle for censorship. But you know, tattoos are not allowed in Judaism or Christianity, or in fact Islam. Yeah, they all say you're not allowed to mark your body. You know, it's wrong. It's wrong because there's association. That's an association with paganism, right? And it's very, you know, and so Christianity shouldn't have it. But you know, so many Christians don't even read the Bible. Yeah, but Muslims especially shouldn't. I mean, they read their stuff a bit more, but you know, you don't get, when you look at the UFC and stuff, you don't get what's his name, Habib, and these people come with tattoos because they know they're not allowed them, man. And it appeals to me, like when I see a guy who hasn't got tattoos, I think, good, you know, respect your own body, man, instead of drawing all over it. Yeah, and you know what is bad, got bad health implications. If you have too many tattoos, the ink gets in your like lymph nodes and can damage them. Yeah. There's pictures of them, of lymph nodes with like loads of black paint in them. It's no good. It's no good. But you do get these like American style Muslims. A lot of them are converts, right? And they will have tattoos all over them, and they'll put Islam, or some Arabic stuff, and that Nico Ali Walsh, yeah, the Muhammad Ali's white grandson, who tries to act as black as possible, because he's a bit ashamed of looking white. I spoke about it in a video. He puts like little cornrows on, and he converted to Islam. He wasn't really brought up as a Muslim, and he's got all these tattoos. And even he admitted, he goes, I shouldn't have these. These are haram. I think it was Omar Shika. Another guy who was a Muslim American fighter, and in fact, I don't think it was Omar Shika. It was someone else. I'll find out who it is. 1 minute. Yeah, it wasn't Omar Shika, but it's someone to do. I can't remember. I think he was in a Contender series, but it's not allowed anyway. But people just don't care anyway. But his tattoos, Ryan's tattoos, are a bit whack, and he's gonna get addicted. And then cover his body with it. It would look so much better. We've just had a natural body, as does everyone, in fact. But he's so Ryan. Ryan's a Mexican American, yeah, but he must be the most American Latino ever. They showed in as Creed Rye was going in the ring, they showed these Mexican flags, a couple being waved. I'm like, man, he can't even speak Spanish. I don't think, man. Yeah, he's the most Americanized Latino I've ever seen. Yeah, his name Ryan. Ryan, that's a sort of middle-class white name, isn't it? Or a very white name in America. And his brother, yeah, is called Sean, which is a very Americanized name. I mean that's originally an Irish name, but, they're not called Hector or Carlos or Juan or anything, are they? No. Ryan and Sean. It could be two nerdy white kids, white and nerdy. But, Sean, talking of Sean Garcia, right? Ryan's brother was meant to be a fellow prospect. He's got 6 wins and with 2 KOs, no losses. I think he lost 4 in 21, but he's I think he's pretty poor. I've seen him against some journeyman, and the journeyman got robbed. And then Sean, I mean, good luck to him, right? But it's like the Harry Khan, brother of Amir. They tried a few fights, and they're like, look, man, just pack it in, You're going to get hurt, and people are going to laugh at you. So, Harun Khan. But so Sean Garcia is a Harun Khan of America, basically. It's not a major compliment. But, yeah, I feel a bit sorry for old Sean, because, like, Ryan, obviously, is a pretty boy. And, all the girls want him, Latino girls for sure. And then he's tall as well, 5'10". And Sean, he's got his ugly brother Sean, like kind of ugly, nerdy, and a bit chubby. I mean, he could be very bitter, and he can't fight either. But maybe he's over it and just like loves his brother. That'd be cool. So Ryan fought this guy from Ghana, and his name is Emmanuel Tego. Now, I thought, that it would be pronounced differently, but apparently Tego was the correct pronunciation, yeah. And no doubt he's teak tough because he's from Ghana. I don't think the Americans are caught on to that cliche, but if Adam Smith is there, he would have said teak tough probably a handful of times for sure. Very predictable, that Adam. And yes, you're going to get exposed soon, fam. And his, he's got his nickname, his ring name is the Game Boy, which it's pretty whack, man. I mean, do you like Nintendo? What do you mean Game Boy? And he's a boy, but he's game, like he's tough. Because you don't look young, man. You don't look like a boy. He's about 55, man. A lot of these Africans, especially the ones I brought over to lose, look ancient, man. Some of them lie about their name, but for Game Boy, Tego ain't no game. Ain't no boy. Now, Game Boy sounds more like Oscar's secret name for Ryan Garcia. Come here, Game Boy. Game Boy, you see this kitchen whisk? And, before he sticks it up Ryan's batty hole. I'm not hating on Ryan. I really, I like Ryan, I like Ryan. I think he's a sweet kid, I'm not sure whether he really wants to be a boxer, in the sense that he's got a lot of distractions. But, he's still got a baby mother. You still got stupid ass tattoos whilst going to be a Christian, you know. I don't really appreciate hypocrisy, yeah. But, you know, Ryan, he's got all these girls thrown at him, you know. He's the first true, like, well, they've been playboys in boxing, but, you know, Ryan Garcia's fans are probably more women, and women don't really like boxing, yeah. Like I look at the data on my channel, like only 5% of my viewers are women, yeah, and that's fairly typical. But yeah, all these Latino girls, especially, they want his length, man, yeah. They want his DNA, yeah. They want his DNA for them, for sure. Because, you know, well, man, you get a kid as well. You get a bag, as they say, you know. And, you know, some people will criticize Ryan Garcia. You know, there's maybe a bit of jealousy there because he seems to have everything. There'll be some haters, no doubt. Yeah, and some of the criticism is justified. You know, even though like the mental health thing is a bit lame for a pro boxer. You know, you will always encounter a lot of difficulties in like, especially as a boxer. But you expect a bit more toughness. Yeah, this ain't some pop star. Yeah, who has to pull out of you know, some boy band for exhaustion, you know, how they always do because they're weak. This is a boxer. You got to be tough. It does not reflect well on his future as a boxer. Yeah. Plenty of mentally ill boxers. You know, one thing that kept him straight was fighting. Yeah. And the old Insta thing and the Jake Paul thing, I don't know if they're still pals, but they were. You know, it's all a bit of a distraction. I mean, you know, and I get it. You know, when I was young, I'm a good looking guy as well, man. You know. Yeah. I bang loads of women, you know. But you know, I don't do that now because obviously I'm a Christian now, and I was a sinner and a fornicator then, you know. And being a good-looking young man is sweet. I wouldn't agree with that life now. I wouldn't live my life now, but you know, that was pre my conversion, pre-seeing the light. Yeah, but you know. Back in the day, man, I used to eat at the Pum Pum buffet often. Yeah, I'd visit that Pum Pum buffet often. Yeah, I was greedy. I visited a lot, and I filled my boots, man. And I'm talking about the premium Pum Pum buffet, right? You feel me? I'm not talking about no low rent £5 eat as much as you want buffet, man. Yeah, I'm talking about the models, the actresses, yeah. You know, dancers, posh girl. Yeah, as well, all kinds of girl. I even did a little bit of oil drilling, not very much, you know. But these girls threw themselves at me. It was in the club, you know, and they were the best of breed. Like, you know, one was a model, one was a dancer, the other one was posh, you know. But you know, obviously now I'm fat, yeah. So that buffet is closed for me. It's closed to me now. Yeah, but as I said, you know, I believe that kind of rampant fornication is sinful, you know, and I wouldn't go in the buffet anyway, you know, even if I wasn't fat and ugly, but you know, I'd have to walk past that buffet, yeah. But before, you know, I'd just gorge on every station, yeah, every platter on offer, I'd have a crack at it, you know, spend a lot of time at the blue-eyed blonde buffet platter too, you know, that was my favourite dish, yeah. Dark, you know, and people say, "Oh, gee, Mr. Buffet, Triple B." Yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes sure, man. It's sweet buffet, innit? It's sweet tasting buffet, but as a Christian, you have to control your urges, yeah, from sinning, you know, and when you're being tempted, and you know, I would have lived my life differently. I would have that one lady, yeah, that one dish, just that one dish, yeah, and I'd eat that dish every day, but just that dish, you know, like you get like Rain Man with his cheese balls. Or, you know, you get a guy like a restaurant, you know, he always comes in and he only has that same dish at the same restaurant at the same time every day. Well, not necessarily the same time, but he always has that dish. They know when he comes in what he's having, yeah, and he orders that same dish. So that, you know, that's how I'd live my life like that. So, onto the fight, you know, let's do it. And like I said before, I was surprised. I thought it'd be Emmanuel Togoe. I didn't think there was silent E's in a lot of African dialects, but, you know, what do I know, man? I researched this, and apparently it's pronounced Tego. There's Prince Tego, I think was a great player from Ghana. So, but, you know, especially, you know, American commentators, you're so ignorant of foreign names. They pronounce them all willy-nilly, and, you know, Americans will make up words like, you know, if someone comes in your house, yeah, and breaks in and steals, it's called burglary. You got burgled. Yeah, Americans don't say that. They go, "You got burglarized." You know, they make up these words, man. They make up these words and like it's not a special. The English word is a speciality, but the Americans say specialty. You know, it's just that U.S. English is a little bit like retarded, man. Although some people argue it's more logical, but that's not the point, man. English ain't no logical language. Yeah, it's English. We made it. You know, in England we speak that thing. But you know, and the commentator, what's the name? The Sergio Mora, the Latin snake. Yeah, La Razza. Yeah, I bet. You know, obviously he'll pronounce the Hispanic names correctly, but I can't trust his Ghanaian pronunciation. But it turns out they were correct, which is weird. I like Ghanaians. You know, all the Ghanaians I met are nice. You know, they're quite friendly, smiling people. You know, obviously there's great Zuma Nelson. I didn't meet him, but you know, Ghanaians are always known to be quite friendly. Yeah, very smiley. Yeah, there's this joke that a Ghanaian told me. He said, you know, he goes, what's the difference? Yeah, between a Nigerian and a Ghanaian? I'm like, I said, I want to know, bruv. He's like, the Ghanaian will smile while he's robbing you. Well, I like that. I like that, but you know, it's true. They're very friendly guys, but obviously they might still rob you up. I don't know if they're into that scam where they ring you up. You know, like the Nigerians, I love that thing, but you know, yeah. So Emmanuel Tego, and I'm glad. You know. See, if it was David Greenblatt Diamante pronouncing it, you know he pronounced it right because it's part of his ego thing and his shtick. You know, like when he goes almost over the top, he'll pronounce all the names properly. You know, the Latin names and all that, which I like actually, to be honest. But yeah, luckily old Greenblatt wasn't in the house yesterday. Who knows? You know, maybe another crash and he lost his head, but they sewed it back on. And he'll be working a couple of days too. And so during the fight, so like Ryan Garcia, so he's got good hand speed, you know, and decent power, no doubt. His feet are a bit slow, and he holds his head a little bit high and unprotected. You know, he did get decked hard by Luke Campbell, who looks about 12. And you know what? It worries me because a lot of people at lightweight who are really very good, you know. And Tego is just a bit small and not really good enough, yeah, to give Garcia a serious fight, you know. She's a perfect opposition, really. Looks tough, you know. Looks muscular and black, but really ain't got a chance, man. You know, he's like a piñata, man. Garcia, in the early stages anyway, Garcia like give him a hiding. Yeah, and if you look at the punch stats, right, you can see Garcia is very dominant. He got 165 punches landed, total punches. Tego 90. So, you know, Garcia is close to twice as many punches, which, you know, is a bit of a beat down. I wouldn't even be surprised to be more than that. Yeah, but this is what we're look at this. I don't really trust these punch stats, but check it out. Garcia, jabs thrown, 205. Jabs landed, 5. So he missed with 200 jabs. I mean, I know you get those little, you know, they push out those jabs to try and get distance, right? But come on, man. That's worrying. I wonder how that compares to other fights, man. That is extremely worrying statistic for Garcia. And Tego got dropped in round 2, yeah. What's funny is the female commentator, right? I don't know her name. I'm not going to go and have a look again, and I got no respect for these. Every woman fighter is a global superstar world champion type thing. They stuff down your neck, but this is her quality commentary, right? So Tego takes 2 shots, boom, he's on the floor, and that. The woman alleged world champion goes, that wasn't a knockdown. What a whole comment, man. I've never heard of, but really, you know, like you look at it, and then she's like, oh, actually maybe it was, when it's quite clearly gets smashed in the mouth by both shots. Yeah. Now Tego complains that he was pushed. That's just much of a joke. as this woman complaining that, suggesting he didn't get hit. And the thing is that these women, they're always bringing them in to ruin the commentary on fights. I mean, it's bad enough, the blokes that commentate on fights, but these women don't know nothing about boxing. Yeah? And it's like every femoid fighter that exists in the pro seems to be a champion of some description, yeah? And actually I looked into this, I thought, let's have a look here, man. So joking apart, right, there are 17 weights in boxing now. I know that the top weights are not really, I think heavyweight's only 8 girls in, cruiserweight is 0, but so this isn't a perfect comparison, but so it is 4 main, WBC, IBF, WBO, WA. There's 3 main organizations, right? So like 4 times 17 is 68, yeah. So that's 68 world titles potentially available to the bitches. Now there's 1,500 active women boxers. So, that's 4.8% of women, at any one time. That's if let's forget about unifications to make this easy. Can claim to be world champ, yeah, and on top of that, who knows how many there'll be ex-world champs there as well. I reckon in any rating, there's probably 5 times as many, ex-world champs as champs, or maybe, whatever. Let's imagine that. So, there'll be like 22.5% of women will be able to say they're world champ or are champ. And that's before you go to intercontinental, national, USBA, NABF, interim, etc. All that stuff, yeah. It's I don't know, man. It's women's boxing. There's no depth to it, and even at the top, they're rubbish. Apart from Savannah Marshall, of course, yeah. But her main point in life in boxing, is going to be to produce the world's heavyweight champion of the future, and it looks like obviously Tyson Fury would probably be better quality sperm, but Tyson's married, so they're gonna make her, as I said, with Big Huey, and he's in love anyway. So, back to the fight. So it goes on a bit. The first 3 rounds, Garcia's known to be a fast start. You give Tego a right hiding, and you think, he's gonna get stopped at some point. But it's as the fight goes on, I guess what's his name slows down a bit, and Garcia. And by round 7 there's even some booze, and the pretty boy seems to be running out of ideas, you have to say Tego wasn't really trying to win the fight, to be honest, though. He didn't want to look bad. He wasn't like clutching or anything, but he wasn't really going for anything. He just wanted to make it out, probably on points. The trainer in the corner, Garcia's new trainer, is Joe Goosen, right? He's quite a creepy looking guy. Apparently they go on like they go close-bind trips together, which is weird. Like I don't know what Garcia is again, 21, 22, whatever. Going out with some 60-year-old man, who's just like someone half his age, and buying clothes. Joe Goosen with his bouffant blonde haircut and stuff. And it's quite weird. Like he's in the corner and he looks like someone's trendy dad, some gay sugar daddy wearing like clothes that are too young for him. You're probably gonna have to fight it out with the Oscar De La Homo at the end of the fight to find out who gets to smash Ryan's batty first. Although knowing what a pervert Oscar is, Oscar probably want to go second. He goes, no, I want to go second. Joe, you went second last time. I want to go second on Ryan, okay? I want your sloppy seconds. The disgusting people, but that's how they think, man. Yeah. And, the fight goes on. It's slowed down a bit. But, I wouldn't say it's interesting. You can kind of tell what's going to happen. But it's a good fight from a matchmaker's perspective for Ryan to get his confidence back. Not a complete waster who's going to drop with a few shots, but who doesn't really offer much, danger, and is tough enough. But I think they still would like to see him take him out. And the commentary is saying, they're wondering later on, is there a chance Ryan will be taken into deep waters? Yeah, well, not by this tough guy there. The the big question is, will Oscar De La Homo take Ryan into deep waters later on when he's in his kitchen wielding a whisk and a spatula? That's what they should worry about, man. That's what they should worry about. And yeah, so Ryan gets the Ryan gets the decision. It's quite clear. I think it's 119, 108, whatever. I don't know. He won virtually every round. He won like 11 rounds basically. There's no surprise. It was a good fight for Ryan. Yeah, it was a good fight for Ryan. I managed to catch this little. It's quite funny near the end, right? Ryan's like, trying to put on a pressure and maybe take out Tego, but he's hitting wild air. That'll make a good meme if someone can be bothered. But yeah, like I said, Tego, he wasn't really interested in winning by the look of things. It's a workmanlike performance, I'd say, from Ryan Garcia. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to criticize too much the old mental health pretty boy, but he ran out of ideas a bit, and he couldn't change up his game plan, like and the old sugar daddy Joe Goosen should have probably, and he's an experienced guy, right? You should have advised him a bit differently. And I'm not convinced that old Ryan crying Ryan is ready for any of the big guys at lightweight. It's probably the most stacked division. I hate using that phrase, but it is one of the most stacked, the most stacked division in boxing. If you let's look at it. So, I mean, this is BoxRec rankings I'm looking at now. BoxRec it's a computerized thing, but it works on the whole quite well. And they got Gervonta Davis number 1, Kambosos Jr. number 2, Teofimo Lopez number 3, Vasil Lomachenko number 4, Devin Haney number 5. I don't see Ryan Garcia beating any of them guys. Yeah, I really don't. I think he's too much of a liability with his chin up, and he can hit. But these guys seem pretty solid. He can hit, but he's no Hitman Hearns. And number 6, they got Gustavo Lemos. I think he's the guy that just beat the alleged Welsh Mayweather, Lee Selby, which is another one of the most terrible nicknames. But yeah, so he beat him. He's unbeaten as well. Then Jojo Diaz. He lost recently to, was it Davis? He's a tough guy. And number 8, Ryan Garcia. Now, Ryan Garcia, out of them people, he might beat Lemos and Diaz. I can't see him beating Lomachenko, Haney, Lopez, Kambosos, or Davis, really. And they should, his management, Golden Shah's promotion are going to want to be careful with him, because they know he can make a lot of money, but they just got to choose the right guys for him to fight. Anyway, that's my prognosis on Garcia. We'll see. To be honest, I hope he does well, because I like the way he brings in a different crowd that wouldn't otherwise be interested in boxing. It's always good to bring in fans, because sometimes they get hooked and they go from being casuals to the hardcore boxing fans like Porky likes. Anyway, peace, brothers.